All right, today we're jumping right into the core of Brené Brown's incredible book, Dare to Lead. We're going to really explore what it takes to be a leader today, and we'll tackle some of those big questions that, let's be honest, you've probably asked yourself a time or two. So let's just start with that big one, right? What kind of leader do you actually want to be? It's a simple question, but it gets to the very heart of everything we do at work. And the answer? Well, it might just surprise you. Because here's the thing. According to all of Brown's research, great leadership has nothing to do with being the smartest person in the room or having all the answers. It's not about power or control. It really just boils down to something deeply human, having the guts to be vulnerable. And that one idea, that changes everything. Okay, so let's get into it. This is a huge shift in how we think. We're about to completely reframe what the word vulnerability even means, especially when it comes to being a leader. To really get this, we've got to go back to the word courage itself. It comes from the Latin word cor, which means heart. So the original definition of courage was literally to tell your mind by speaking from your heart. See? It's not about being fearless. It's about showing up with your whole heart. For so long, we've been taught that being vulnerable is being weak. You have to hide it, you have to push it down. But Brené Brown, she just flips that whole idea on its head. She says vulnerability is actually our greatest measure of courage. It's where the good stuff happens. It's the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and real trust. It's not a weakness. It's a straight-up superpower. And that brings us to this thing we all do. We put on emotional armor. You know, that mask of looking like you have it all together, of being perfect, of always being right. We think it's protecting us, but really, it's just a wall. It's what keeps us from truly connecting with our people and actually getting things done. So, okay, that all sounds great, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you build a place where it's safe for people to be vulnerable? Well, let's get practical and open up the toolkit for courage. So Brené Brown tells this amazing story about herself. Early on in her company, her team called a special meeting. And the topic on the agenda? Oh, just her. Specifically, how she was setting these wildly unrealistic deadlines. I mean, can you imagine? Your own team telling you that you're the problem. She says the feedback was incredibly tough to take. But, and this is the crucial part of the whole story, instead of getting defensive, she just listened. She stayed curious. And that one moment, that one really uncomfortable conversation, it was a total game changer. It instantly created a culture where people knew it was safe to tell the truth, even when it was hard. And that kind of truth-telling is the absolute bedrock for any kind of real growth. So how can you make this happen for your team? Well, for one, schedule regular check-ins. Just create the time and space for honesty. When someone brings up a problem, don't jump in to fix it. Get curious. And if things get a little tense, remember this, the 8-second rule. That super awkward, uncomfortable feeling, it rarely lasts more than 8 seconds. If you can just breathe through it instead of shutting down, you unlock so much. Okay, here is an awesome, super practical tool you could literally use tomorrow. It's called the permission slip. You start a meeting, you give everyone a Post-it note, and you ask them to write down one thing they'll give themselves permission to do or feel. You know, like permission to be confused or permission to ask a hard question. It's so simple, but it immediately just sets this tone of openness. Now, let's talk about something our brains do that causes so much trouble at work. See, our brains are story-making machines. They absolutely hate a vacuum. So when there's a piece of information missing, our brain doesn't just sit and wait. Nope, it rushes in to fill that gap by making up a story. And Brené has a perfect, if a little blunt, name for this. She calls it the shitty first draft, or SFD. It's that initial knee-jerk story we tell ourselves about why our boss didn't say hi in the hall or what that email really meant. And here's the kicker. That story is almost always wrong. It's designed to protect us, not to be true. So what's the antidote to the SFD? Well, first, just be as transparent as you can. Close those information gaps before the brain can get in there. And second, you have to create a space where it's safe for someone to say, hey, the story I'm telling myself right now is. That simple phrase brings all those made-up fears out into the light so you can deal with what's real. You know, all of these tools and techniques, they don't really work unless they're anchored to something deeper. To lead with courage, you have to know what you stand for. You need an internal compass. And what her research found is really, really interesting. After talking to leaders all over the world, she discovered that the most daring, most effective ones didn't have a big, long list of values posted on the wall. They had 2. just 2.
Think about it. If you have 10 values, they're just words. They're not going to help you when things get tough. But when you get crystal clear on your top 2, maybe it's growth and integrity, these stop being abstract ideas and become a real practical tool. They become the compass that guides your every move.
All right, and that brings us to maybe the biggest, heaviest piece of emotional armor that we all carry around, and that is perfectionism. Perfectionism is the external pressure to always have the perfect life, the perfect house, the perfect relationship, the perfect job, the perfect workday routine. It's the thing that pushes us to always want more or better or supply with others. It's the force that pressures us to always want to achieve or be something.
Now, this distinction is so important. Perfectionism is not the same as striving to be your best. It's not about excellence. It's a defense mechanism. It's like a 20-ton shield we carry around hoping it will protect us from judgment and criticism. But all it really does is slow us down and wear us out.
And the price we pay for it, it's huge. It's been linked to anxiety and depression. It causes us to get so wrapped up in getting something perfect that we miss the opportunity completely. It basically paralyzes us and keeps us on the sidelines, too afraid to get into what she calls the arena, where the actual work and life happens.
So what's the move? The call to action here is just so clear. To really lead, you have to be willing to be messy. You have to be willing to show up, be seen, and maybe even fail sometimes. You have to put the shield down and step into the arena.
And that's what I want to leave you with. As you go on from here, just ask yourself this one question. What is one piece of emotional armor, one perfectionistic habit, one fear that you are willing to just set down this week? Because the answer to that question isn't just a mental exercise. It's your first real step to becoming the leader you truly want to be.